channel, and today I am going to show you guys how I make these PIGfiteroles. So they are choux pastries filled with strawberry sweetened cream and then topped with loads of really nice chocolate, and they look super cute and you can create a really fun scene. All you need to start is your pan, and I've got it on my weighing scales, and then I'm going to add my butter and my water into here. So add your butter. I'm going to chop mine into cubes. And then I'm going to chuck it into the pan. A little bit more. Cool. And then your water goes in here as well. I'm just going to pour it straight in. And then just set that aside. And next you want to make sure that you weigh your flours that you're going to tip into this later. So bowl on the weighing scales. And then equal amounts of strong white flour and plain flour. Okay, so I'm going to show you the next stage on the stove now, and then you'll see why I needed to weigh the flour now. So pop your stove on the highest it will go and use like a wooden spoon or a spatula just to stir it a little bit intermittently until it all melts. So I'll just leave it for a moment now because the butter's not really melted at all. So you can see it's a little bit melted now, but still a little way to go. But butter will melt like that all of a sudden, so just keep an eye on it. Okay, so now it is bubbling. You can see it's starting to simmer on top. So as soon as that happens, chuck in all of your flour and mix it like this. This is why I don't use a whisk, because if you use a whisk, it'll all clump in, and take it off the heat as well. Really mix it all, and then it will come together as a paste. And that's looking like it's forming a film now. You see it's sticking a tiny bit, but it is coming clean. It's all coming clean off the edge. So that is ready. Okay, so now you've got this paste, which is actually called a panada, and then you add the eggs and then it becomes choux. But before we add the eggs, we need to let it cool. So this I'm going to add to my standard mixer bowl. You can just add it to any ordinary mixing bowl, but I'm just going to use this, and then we will let it cool and add the eggs later. And then if you want to speed up the cooling of the panada, then you can just beat it a little bit if you've got a standard mixer. So just on the lowest setting with a paddle mixer, and leave it and chill out for about 10 minutes. That's that. Okay, so that is cool now. So I'm going to add the eggs. So the first egg, I'm just going to crack in there. And put the mixer on low, or you can mix it in by hand with a whisk. And then, whilst that's mixing, I'm going to crack my second egg into a bowl. And whisk that in there. Okay, so that first egg is mixed in. I'm just going to scrape down the sides a little bit and just make sure all the egg is mixed, which it is. So you can see after the first egg, it's really stiff. It's not even going to come out of the bowl if I hold it upside down. So it definitely needs more egg. So the reason I've beaten this one is because you might not need all the egg, because eggs vary in size and the amount of liquid in there might vary from when you had it on the stove. So you want to gradually add this to avoid it being too runny, because then you can't really go backwards. So just gradual. So I'm going to add, I think, quite a bit add about half of it to start with, because I know that's quite thick, and then mix again. It's still a little bit more egg, but not very much. So I think this looks really good, and the way you can tell is the consistency. So it's got that nice V that drops, and also it's really nice and glossy. You can see a sheen and a shine on it. But yeah, with the egg you might need to use none of it, a bit of it, or even all of it, or almost all of it. I pretty much used almost all of it, but I left a tiny bit, which does make all the difference. So you want to put all your choux pastry into a piping bag. So I've got my big piping bag, and I'm going to stick it in a cup or glass. It just makes it a lot easier to fill. And then you're just gonna get a spatula, scoop all your choux pastry and chuck it in there. And that just avoids any choux getting on the edges of the piping bag and then getting on the hands and just being a mess. Okay, then bag it all up. So you can even knot the top as well. And that just stops any of the choux pastry pouring out the back end. And then cut the tip. So I would cut it about there. It's gonna have your piping bag facing straight down onto the mat. And I'm using a silicone mat, but you can also use baking paper. So just squeeze and then let go, and you can kind of twizzle it as well. Squeeze, twizzle, and lift it off. And we'll get rid of all the peaks later with some water. Okay, so all piped. I've only done some of them just to show you. But when you piped all your choux, you want to get some water. Dip your finger in the water and just use that to smooth out all the tips and the bumps that have been left. And this will just stop those tips burning or going really like misshapen. But really these choux pastries sort of erupt in different ways, which is fine. And especially for what we're doing, it just kind of makes it fun. Great, so that's all the tips smoothed down, and I've got my oven preheated quite high, so 220 degrees Celsius. So that when I put these in the oven, they're gonna have that initial oven spring and have that boost and increase in size. But then I'll turn down the temperature after about 10 minutes or so. Okay, so see you back with some baked choux. Yay! So these guys are looking nice and brown, and you can hear the crust. So they're on a cooling rack, but before they're fully cool, you need to just stab the bottom of them. And that is just to allow the air to escape so that the air inside doesn't make them all deflate. And then let them fully cool, which shouldn't take long, and then I'll show you the next bit. So to start, you're going to need a blob of marzipan, which I've kneaded in some pink food dye, so it's a nice pale-ish medium pink. So using this, you're just going to create some really easy snouts. So just roll it and use your fingers to press it into that kind of size, a little snout shape. They're really easy to do, and you kind of have to resist the urge of eating the marzipan whilst you work, which is really hard to do. That is if you're a marzipan fan. I know some people aren't. And obviously, if you hate marzipan, you can use fondant. Great, so that there is my 6 little noses, and I will show you the next bit. So now you're gonna whip up your cream filling, pour in your cream, add your icing sugar, add some strawberry powder, and then a little bit of pink food dye, but not too much. And whip it up. Whipping, 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 and keep whipping. And whip. It looks like Strawberry Angel Delight. Great, so that's whipped now to soft peaks. You're going to put it in your piping bag, same way as before, and scoop it all into your bag. And then you can lick the bowl. Bag it all up and then cut the tip. So about, I'm going to say about there. Cut your choux buns in half. Get your cream, and you just want to pipe it into that hole. And have a nice mound on top. And then put the little hat back on, squish it down a little bit, and there you have the beginnings of a PIGfiteroles. So then you want to get your little snout and pop it in the middle somewhere. And then the finishing touch is just a bit of royal icing dyed black, and you're just going to use this to pipe on the eyes and the nostrils. One little PIGfiterole, and you're going to do a few of them, and then we're going to cover them in mud, and they're going to look really cute and all hang out bathing in the mud. So I'll do another one. Pipe the cream straight down just like that. Super easy. Put the hat on like that. Add a little snout. There's the snout, and then add some eyes and the nostrils. Nostrils and eyes. And now we have 2 piggies. So just go and decorate all of them. And that's all of them done. So now you've got your little army of piggies, PIGfiteroles. I'm gonna melt some chocolate, and then this is the really fun bit where you get to create a little scene with them bathing in the mud or queuing up to get in the mud and just having a general good time as pig-choux buns. So I've melted my chocolate. I just used a microwave in like 20-second bursts. So with this bit, you can pretty much just do whatever you want. So I've kind of set up a scene of a chopping board, and this is going to be their little bath, pig bath. So I'm just going to put some chocolate in the bath and fill it up a little bit. That looks nice. I'd make it fuller, but I don't have that much chocolate. And then I think this big guy, he's gonna go in the bath. He looks like he enjoys a good bath. And then I think he needs a bit of mud on his head. So you can just drizzle it on top. Just be careful not to get too much over the face, but it is nice to get like a controlled bit of a drip going on. I want a couple of them queuing up to go into the baths. I guess it could just be him and him. I'm covered in chocolate. I'm covered in chocolate now. I think I've got some on my glasses. And then one coming out of the bath. So he'll be in a muddy mud patch. I think he's gonna go in the splat. Actually no, I think he'll go in the queue. You can hang out in the queue and you can go in the splat. Make that splat a little bit bigger. Cover him in some chocolate, and then maybe this will actually be a path where he can hang out. And then a little bit more chocolate on his head. A couple of drips. Drips look good. Ta-da! I love them so much. I think they're just really fun and really easy to make, and you can use your imagination and create your own little world of little piggy shoes. You could have them all in the bath, more of them in the bath. Anything could be going on. Also, do get my book, because the recipe for these guys is in here, along with loads of other recipes. That's where the piggies are on the back. I hope you have so much fun making these guys, and I hope you've enjoyed watching the video. Please like and subscribe and ask me any questions you have as well. And I can't wait to see you next week. And buy my book.